Minor spoilers for Undertale. If you've never played Undertale, most people recommend going into it completely blind, and I mostly agree. Besides the trailer and about page so that you know what the game is about, the only two things you need to know is that it is possible to spare Toriel, doing so is optional, and if you're somehow crazy enough to end up fighting Monster Kid, you should spare them, because choo-choo, the bad time train is leaving the station and this is your last chance to get off. Don't say I didn't warn you. Most people won't even enter that fight. But since you're watching a guide video and ignoring my spoiler warning, then you probably don't care about going in blind, in which case keep watching. Many first plays accidentally do the hardest neutral route, which is unfortunate. The pacifist ending is the only one you need. Although it is a little harder as a first route, it's doable. You need to give Undyne water, beat Asgore with 0 EXP, then backtrack for the rest. Or if you'd rather your first play be the easiest, but tedious, route, then follow this guide. If you have played Undertale, then this route is exactly what you'd expect. Genocide, abort, demi-armor, genocide. This video is just tips and jokes. Before starting, you could save scum to skip a couple fights, but I'm assuming you aren't cheating, so instead name the human Gaster. But seriously, if you see this warning, then 1, stop looking at the wiki, and 2, use another name since this guide is for normal mode. An important term in this game is that LV stands for love, not level. The game is clear about this. So if my subtitles show love in all caps, then it's a reference to the game stat, and probably also a pun for the English word. First, head straight for those friendliness pellets. Then something else happens. Spam the ZX keys to skip dialogue. But serious mode. The point of this game is the plot and the characters and text. Even on this route, there's plenty to enjoy, so take your time and examine stuff. Attack the dummy because it gets rid of him in a single turn, and you might as well practice that attack since you're going to be spamming it. Be sure to kill the first Frogget, since he's got extra money for some reason. And now the most evil thing in this route. Take all the monster candy. You despicable human. I'm not going to say how to complete the puzzles or where to find every item. I'll only mention important ones or ones that I can make a joke about. And also this whole puzzle, since repeatedly hitting holes until the puzzle gives up is easy and tedious and thus on theme. The first mouse save point is when you should start grinding. In order to skip Napstabloop, the ghost in the next room, you'll need to max out your kill count in the room before the save. On PC, shove up against a top wall and hold the up and down arrow keys in order to twitch like this. It counts as walking, so it's the easiest way to get steps. If you're on console, it's going to be much more annoying since you'll have to actually walk in circles. Either way, this route is super tedious, so make sure you have at least music to listen to. The game will tell you when you've maxed out your kill count. Personally, I find grinding to be too tedious, so for first-time players I'd instead recommend that you follow this guide but without the grinding. That's the second easiest route, but is significantly less boring. Buy a spider donut in order to skip Muffet later. You start the game wearing a bandage, which guarantees being able to flee from every fight, which is useless because you'll be killing them all. So you might as well equip an armor with better defense such as the ribbon. The bandage sells for 150G, so keep it for that, which is better than the 10 HP from eating it. Plus this ribbon will come in handy later. Likewise, the stick sells for 150G. You won't be using it to spare dogs since we need the EXP. Where are the knives? Save the pie for Asgore. As for the goat mom fight, well actually I flirted aggressively, but you might have called her mom. You could normal kill or betray. Either way it's one hit, so there's no wrong way to kill your mom. Unless you didn't max out your kill count, in which case you'll have to savagely beat her repeatedly with a stick until she stops moving. This is also acceptable. Genocide, genocide, oh genocide. Bo-bo, bo-bo. You don't need murder level, and, in fact, try not to kill anything except the dogs for now. Definitely don't max out your kill count in Snowdin until the end. Find the snowman and rip him apart into 3 pieces. Doing that still isn't as evil as taking all the monster candy, though. No nice cream salesman. As like he doesn't want to give nice cream to a genocidal maniac. I don't see why not. I'm only gonna kill everyone in the game. Seems a little prejudiced to assume that would include him. Speaking of which, if you run into Jerry, you should spare or flee because 1 EXP is a waste of a kill count. See? We can be merciful for entirely selfish reasons. Make sure you kill Doggeressa first to avoid her wrath. Sans threatens that we'll have a bad time on this path, and he's right. Which is why we're going to strategically abandon it in Snowdin. Enter Snowdin town and save. Ignore the "that comedian" warning. This part is optional. Glide is worth a ton of EXP, but is much harder than a normal Snowdin fight. But you should be able to beat him at full HP, so you may have to save in Snowdin between each kill, which would be super tedious, but would rack up the EXP fast. To maximize your love, you should only kill Glide, but again, don't max out your kill count, so be careful. Stop grinding when your kill count is 41, for which the save will say 2 left. You can only see your kill count in Genocide mode, but if you didn't max out your kills in the Ruins, then the order of the Snowdin kills won't matter. If Glide is too difficult or tedious, then instead kill Gift Rot, since any kill will give EXP to make the game easier. Then go back to Snowdin Town. Unfortunately, we can't one-shot Papyrus. Killing him without a maxed out kill count will abort Genocide. Congratulations, Papyrus! Somehow his death stopped the Genocide. Let's celebrate! With more Genocide. And I'm not just saying that because it's funny or even for the EXP, but because an empty shop is really helpful. And yes, you do need to do them in this order so that Genocide mode is aborted, but the Snowdin kill count is maxed. After killing another monster, Snowdin Town is evacuated so that we can steal gold from the register. If you still have any monster candy, replace them with Cinnamon Bunny. That's right, I stole extra candy just to throw it on the ground here. Weapons and armor sell for a good amount, but the only thing that's a must keep is the spider food, spider donut or spider cider. And obviously the pie and snowman pieces are better than Cinnamon Bunny. Fill your inventory and box. There are 2 items to find before the next box, so you'll have to drop or eat to make room if you find them. I killed the royal guard, but I didn't genocide the underground. Debatably. Speaking of found items, here's the one good deed this run, saving the abandoned quiche, because it's a good healing item. You get it by making this bridge. If you happen to see Goner Kid, be sure to threaten him. No whole bunch. Well, now how am I going to skip rooms? Oh wait, we're not cheating. Well then it doesn't matter. So don't worry about it. No onion! Which makes this run even easier because it's hard to survive his conversation. For the legendary artifact, make sure you have a free space in your inventory before entering the treasure room. Feel free to die to the Mad Dummy since you'll need to collect some deaths eventually for the Timmy armor. Wait, his special attack is to trap me in a fight forever? Funny enough, there's another fight with that same strat. Fill the empty spots in your inventory and box with cloudy glasses while you're at Gerson. Don't throw anything away for it. The point is that the place you can sell things is next, so we're about to offload. And cloudy glasses sell for more than the buy price. Oddly, Timmy doesn't react to the stick, so I guess she's not a dog despite appearance. She dies in 1 hit and has decent EXP, so for future reference, this room is a great spot to grind your waterfall kills. Get to the Timmy village in the manliest way possible. No, not allowed. Do it the easy, tedious way. Alright, fine, I'll stay on theme. This is the only place in the game where you can sell things, so start pawning. It also has the most expensive item and most important item in the game, so once you buy that, money won't matter much. Equip your strongest weapon and armor, which is currently ballet shoes and old tutu. Then sell the rest of your weapons and armor except your worst armor, which is ideally the ribbon. The bandage doesn't count for this and neither does the cloudy glasses. Sell the bandage. Sell the stick since there's no more dogs on this route and you don't need it for the Mettaton or magic, and the hotel dog oddly doesn't take it. So you just don't need the stick anymore. This is the second time I've explained why you don't need to keep the stick. I don't care that it's a unique item, you need the cash and inventory space is limited, so stop being sentimental and just
get rid of it. Got it.
Save and max out your waterfall kill count on Timmy's. Doing so doesn't remove the armor. After that, you should have plenty of G for the college degree, after which the Timmy armor price depends on your current game over count. Buy it after the price is as low as it can be, which requires 25 deaths. You can compare the current armor's price with the table on the wiki to know your current death count. For example, mine is currently 0? Well yeah, I beat the god of Hyperdeath and sold my soul to Kara. Of course I'm not going to die on the easiest route. Heck, I was hitless for most of this so far, except Glide. Also, if you're playing on PC, it's easy to check your save files for the game over count. If the armor already costs $750, and you can afford it, then just buy it now without needing to backtrack. You should have enough money, but if you don't, there are a few ways to make money. You can, but shouldn't, make money by sparing monsters. Before the kill count is maxed, sparing monsters can be done indefinitely, but the problem is that each encounter slows the encounter rate, so this quickly becomes the slowest way to make money, in addition to frustrating your kill count. The fastest way to make money is probably to Silk Road some cloudy glasses from Gerson to Timmy repeatedly. I haven't tested it because, again, you should have plenty of money, since there's nothing else to buy except consumables from Gerson. And I doubt you bought a metric crap ton of crab apples and CT. And if you did, well, don't. This is your own fault for being an idiot. If you aren't grinding kills or cash, then just forget about the Timmy armor. You won't be able to afford it until endgame, and by then it's not that great. So anyway, the real reason to backtrack is to rack up some game overs. Head out to the Undyne fight and equip your worst armor to make it easier to die. You can't re-equip the bandage and shouldn't use cloudy glasses or torn notebook since they increase your invincibility time. Undyne says that I'm a bad person and accuses me of killing Papyrus. Undyne? That's a rude thing to say. I mean, it's accurate, but it's just funny to me to call her out for being righteous. How dare she be a good person? At this rate, she's going to make me like her. Oh wait, she's already my favorite character. Anyway, it's time to die to Undyne until you have 25 game overs. Too bad there's no ending for sparing or losing to the Undying. I would be all over that. Oh wait, is this recording? Well, in that case, backtrack for the Timmy armor. Equip it and come back here. Again. And now to kill Undyne. Look, I do love me some Undyne, but unfortunately she has EXP, so toodles! Also, her death has a unique plot point, so her death is better than every other kill in the whole game. Just pointing that out. And when I say kill her, I do mean actually kill her, since drying her out doesn't give EXP. When doing this fight, you'll need to block the first 3 spears to avoid the kindergarten attack. I set genocide to the rain, watched it burn as it set aflame. Which is very difficult if you think about the physics of it. Ignore the boat until after the quiz. The quiz has the answers, but it doesn't matter since you can't die. So the easy, tedious thing would be to just wait out the time, then guess on the last question. Actually, you can't die to any of Mettaton's minigames, and they all have timers, so you can just wait them out. Maybe I should go back and finish Glitch Tale. The plot was great, but action bores me, except the Undyne fight. Can't get enough Undyne, but IDK if she'll be in another fight. And we're out of time. Save instant noodles for Asgore, they heal 90 in that fight. Now take the boat back to Snowdin and refill your inventory on bunnies, replacing inferior food. Might as well max out your pockets in both boxes. Clip through the wall to make the game shorter. Ha! No. That would make the game harder. And we aren't cheating. And we don't have a whole bunch. And that's not how the whole bunch works anyway. And it's not a spoiler since I didn't say where it goes. And Alfie sucks at her surveillance job. She also sucks at simping over Undyne. I mean, honestly, how could you not watch the Undyne fight? She also sucks at evacuating since I've killed everyone so far, and even after maxing the kill count in Hotland, she's still like, it's probably fine. Dang it, woman, no wonder you struggle with feeling worthless because you kind of are. I also like you. Those things are related since sucking a lot is relatable. But I don't suck at this game because I'm killing it. Eh? See what I did there? Anyway, where's that frying pan? Here we are. We don't, however, need the apron since the Timmy armor has the stats and effects of all other armor on this route combined. Don't be on art day or just don't go to this hidden room. Sosari has only 1 EXP, so we avoid him since it's a waste of a kill count, which we're still maxing out. Use a spider donut on Muffet, then betray! On the other hand, the song Spider Dance is slapping, so feel free to do it the harder way. Or just wait in the menu, which would be easier and tedious and thus on theme. Genocide, 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 genocide. Burnt Pan has 10 attack and makes healing consumable items worth 4 more HP, versus Empty Gun with 12 attack. Either one is fine for the core. There's 3 ways to remove this force field: Warrior, Sage, or Patience. Waiting it out is the easiest and most tedious, and thus on theme. However, more EXP could make boss fighting easier, which is more important, since the regular enemies are pushovers if you've been loving this route so far. See what I did there? Therefore, we're going to the path of the warrior. The fights on the Path of the Warrior happen even after maxing out the kill count, so be sure to max out before stepping on the bridge in order to maximize EXP. The wiki mentions that it's possible to accidentally spare Mettaton EX, but you won't, considering how hard it is to do intentionally. If you want to lower your ratings, you can just AFK on your turn, which is easy and tedious and thus on theme.
You just gonna sit there, staring at the back of the seat?
Apparently AFK draining maxes out, so feel free to throw in some curse words. I'm going home to a place where I genocide, and where your love has always been enough for me. Oh, here's where the knives are. I must have been confusing it with the identical house. And yes, you're going to want this over the Burnt Pan. The game says we aren't heartless. The saved quiche agrees. But the Timmy armor is better than the Heart Locket, so throw it on the ground like the piece of trash it is. Haha. Heartless mode for the win! Unless you don't have the Timmy armor, in which case I guess you'll have to respect everyone's favorite item. You know, if you must. It's you? Dang, I was trying so hard for it to be me, but I guess I changed. Save in the last corridor. Take the backtrack elevators, then boats to go refill your free buns. Look, she told me unlimited free refills for life. I can't just ignore an offer like that. Although this is the end, so you might as well spend all your money on better items. The Judgment Hall thinks I'm alright somehow, which means it has lower standards than Undyne. Well, okay, Undyne has pretty high standards, but still, I did everything to max my murder level and max out the kill count in every area, and these fancy stained glass windows are all like, nah bro, you did them in the wrong order. Everyone is dead. How is that not evil enough for you? The actual genocide requirements are the worst part of Undertale, although right now I'm abusing that fact to my advantage, but I'm still gonna complain about this in an otherwise incredible game. If Toby Fox fixed that, then Undertale would shoot up my list. Wait, no, actually it's already my #1 favorite game. But I'm just saying, I'd like it a lot more if Genocide wasn't so obtuse, tedious, and shallow. That's right, I'm using the last corridor to judge Undertale. Oh, the poetic justice. Not to be confused with the Spear of Justice, because that's Undyne. The Asgore fight. It's finally time to use that pie and ramen, and actually everything else, since this is your last chance to use items. And no, we can't make the snowman happy because we killed him, so you might as well eat those too. Some other plot stuff happens, then that's it. We get a phone call about the neutral ending we got and get an empty death threat, which goes nicely with the bad time threat and brother killer threat. Too bad we can't also get dead where you stand threat in the same run. So there we go! That's normal mode Undertale in the easiest non-cheating way possible with minimal spoilers. You can see how you like the main plot and are in a good position to try Pacifist next.